Hello.
Hello, how are
Hello.
you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good.
Looking yellow.
I'm looking yellow?
We're looking
Yeah,
yellow.
we're looking yellow.
Yeah, a little, not too bad.
I think a lot of it's yellow
Background.
background. What color are your walls? White?
Like a dove gray,
Gray.
like a really, really light gray.
Yeah.
Why, they look funny?
No, our walls are yellow, just like they were in the apartment, and
Wow, look at that big head.
we're slowly changing them.
I really like these. There's a couple light grays because it's such a neutral palette and you can just brighten it up with anything.
Right. Well, I'm actually going to do a whitewash board behind me.
Yeah.
I finally have my desk and my office is somewhat set up.
My desk is a complete disaster because I'm here all day. So I have a section with all the work stuff and that computer and that phone and that stuff. And then all my work and mirror. I mean, it looks like a bomb went off on my desk.
Well, at least you know what you're doing. I have piles in I don't know how many boxes and don't know where
Not
anything.
like I know what I'm doing. Look at this mess. I mean, honestly, what a freaking mess. I gotta spend time. You at least just moved. I haven't moved.
Maria's
God.
frustrated. She can't figure out why she's got a big head.
I had no big head last week. Why is it here this week?
Because yeah, I like it.
Somehow you have a virtual background on, and
Well, I know, but I don't know how to get rid of it.
I don't know that you can get rid of it inside this Zoom.
But you
Okay, so I didn't want to forget to hit record. So last week we talked about that we would start an audio of the week that Denise so graciously put together for all of us. And so we wanted to start out with, first of all, how many of you actually listened to that audio of the week? Just a raise of hands. Okay, so just keep your hand up so I can see. I can't look at everybody at the same time. Okay, so Ellen, Laura, Paul, and Maria, and myself. Walter, did you listen to it after we talked to your friend?
Are you talking about that product coring?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I did.
Okay, beautiful. So what I'd like to do is, for those of you who watched it, I'd like to find out what you took away from it, and also how you might have used that in your business if you have, or if you plan to coming up, just to share that with everyone else. So Paul, if you want to go first, since you're married to the lady of the hour.
I listened to it twice, and I guess the lady was talking about product coring or products right before UBP, that they talked about 70 products. The one stuck out in particular about the fuel enhancer, and we've tried that time and time again, and personally, we don't get the same results that this gentleman did. When he was on stage, I think he said that they got 8 more miles to the gallon per 1 ounce. So I guess my takeaway would be not to, I guess, overpromise and underdeliver. Just everybody's not going to get the same results out of every product. I guess we need to reinforce that somehow or another.
Good takeaway. That's a good takeaway, because not everyone's going to get the same results. And Paul, I would say this: you have newer vehicles, right?
One older and one newer.
And did you use it in the older one?
Yeah, the first bottle I bought was at convention, right after convention, and then we went to the next convention 6 months later, and the same man is always there with the products. And I talked to him. I called him over to the side. I said, "Look, I'm not getting the same results." He said, "What's wrong?" I said, I'm just not getting the same results that you're saying I should get. He said, "Well, I appreciate you telling me that. You need to buy another bottle. You need to try it again." Never forgot that.
Did you only use one bottle?
No, we've had multiple bottles.
Okay.
And actually, I think it's doing good in the new vehicle. But my old truck, I think it might be too far gone. So we're not seeing the same results in an older vehicle as compared to a newer one.
Okay, interesting. Because we actually know some people who had tremendous results in
Mhm.
older vehicles. And I wondered if maybe the newer vehicle wasn't. So that's, again, you just never know. I guess a car, just like a body, is made differently. And so some people are going to get what I call miraculous results.
Mhm.
But I think your takeaway that you said, Paul, is really important, that we can't promise, overpromise and underdeliver. So I always tell people, especially with our nutrition products, is there are miraculous stories that people had results changing in less than a week. However, I want you to know this product on average is not going to change you in a week. If you get that, that just tells me you've got, you know, some challenges that it's fixing right away. But most people aren't going to feel most of the products for probably a month to maybe even 3 months for some people. So it's a commitment level.
Yeah.
Great takeaway. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Maria, I think you said you listened.
I did. And I'm going to just echo what Paul said. I haven't really seen a whole lot of results with the fuel additive either in my car.
Okay.
Although it took me a while to figure out, and I also talked to the guy at convention because I was having a hard time even getting it in my car because I have there's no hole where the nozzle goes. You have to push it in and there's like a flap.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't get this bottle to open the flap and squeeze it. So he said to me, you got to hold the gas nozzle up, pour it in there, and then put it in your thing. So I don't know how much is even going in my car, quite honestly, but I continue to put it in. For me, it was just little tweaks on things and actually some things that I didn't remember. And I think I had put this on the Facebook post, was the pH normalizer for a headache. Totally forgot about, and I have watched that thing 3 or 4 times over the course of the last couple years. Totally forgot about that. And it just so happened right after I watched it, I'm homeschooling my grandson 3 days a week while his mother works. And he was here and he says, oh, Grammy, my head hurts. I got a headache. I can't do my work. My head hurts.
Yeah. We got
So I
that.
thought, let me try this. I said, come here. Took him into my bathroom and I said, I want you to close your eyes and close your mouth. And I just sprayed it on his forehead and around his temples. And I said, I want you to just go like this and just softly rub it in. And he goes, what is that going to do? You spraying your face stuff on my head. And I said, just let's see if it takes away your headache so we don't have to give you, any headache, ibuprofen. He says, all right. And he walks out giving me the, you're a crazy old witch doctor look.
You've seen that a few times.
But 10 minutes later, he came out to get something to drink. And I'm like, how's your head? And he goes,
Thank you.
my headache's gone. And I went, see, it worked. And I have to say, I had a stress headache the other day from homeschooling. So I don't know how people do it, but I'm stuck with it 3 days a week for God knows how long. But I did it. I used it myself and it really does work.
Cool.
That's cool. It's
Really
cool.
good.
Here's the thing. And of course, it's a normalizer in terms of you wash your face and then you spray your face with this normalizer it's a toner to
Mhm.
bring pH balance. But the thing is, so many of our products have multiple uses. And so I have to agree with you, Maria. That was one of my huge takeaways. I was like, oh my gosh, how did I forget about that?
Yeah. And I think she said it was the lemongrass or something in it.
It's the lemongrass.
But so that was the big one for me because I happened to use it immediately.
Awesome.
Good.
Awesome. And I think, Ellen, you had your hand up.
Yes,
What did you take away?
I listen, but I have to tell you, I'm a little challenged in that because I'm trying to listen also while I work because I'm home all day and most of the time by myself. But I find that my listening skills to listen to audio and work, I got to work on that a little. So I don't kind of get everything that I should be. But one of the things that really was kind of at the beginning was she said how she watches the leaders in the business and how they do talk about product and do product demonstrations. And that kind of sat with me because that's something I really don't do and need to do more of, is listen to more audios, and because I have the time to do that now. And some of the people that I really have seen over the years that I really like, I would need to go back and look at how they do product demos and, tips that they've given, and reread all of that information that I have.
Awesome. And I have to agree with you. And Maria said that. I'm like, how did she listen and work at the same time? I can't do that.
I'm trying. I'm going to conquer it, but I've not done it much. So I'm going to start because I have the time. I can sit and listen all day. So I'm going to try it.
Right. Well, I will say this, when we get back to live meetings where we can meet live again, which in the state of Florida we can do because they've lifted everything. There are, Ellen, in your specific area where Amanda and Laura also are, there's another gal by the name of Amanda who has done a lot of product trainings. And what I was reminded of with Lisa on this video is how much we have to get together, and it's just about sharing stories and benefits. And they get together and share, I mean, like Laura, you've been to some of their events that they get together and they're sharing 30, 40 products, and everybody's just they're going back and forth between like maybe 4 or 5 different people and 4 or 5 different people presenting, but the presentation isn't presenting. It's really about having somebody tell a story about a product and then sharing it and having people touch it, feel it, smell it, whatever, taste it. And so that there's a lot of different products going out, and the excitement is there because people have actually touched and felt and smelled and taste. So I want us to remember that when we get back to having some live events, we have so much opportunity with so many of our products to do that. And I think it's going to be really important for us to be able to get back out there. People are going to, by the time things open up, people are going to be craving to be together with people. I mean, those people, except people who are total introverts, then obviously they're not going to be craving that. But I mean, most people I know are going to be craving to get together with people. So this is going to be a great time. And if it opens up before the holidays, then obviously I would say have some get-togethers. Walter, I know you said you listened, and Walter listened after we did a call with one of his friends, and he had some shoulder problems. And I'm like, oh, Walter, you need to go listen to this because there's a guy on there who talks about his shoulder. So I don't know if that's what you took away, but what did you take away from it?
Well, excuse me. That was the first time I'd seen one of those product events. And it was just that they covered so many things so quickly. And so, I mean, they were just passing that microphone back and forth. Like you said, they were telling stories. And unfortunately, I guess, because I was listening for the specific one that we had talked about, where we combined different products for dosages. And so since I was trying to listen for that, hearing all those other things, they were like going like, whoop, and it's like, whoop, and the next one was a whoop, and it's like, wow. So there were probably 15 products and so that they covered in that 30-minute time limit. So it was kind of fast, and like Paul said, I'm going to have to go back and watch it again.
And I will say it was like a fire hose.
Yes.
Because they were at a convention, and when they had it, I think they had 30 minutes that they had to do all of this. So I want to really encourage those of you who didn't listen to it to go back. Denise posted it in the not BV411. What did we change it to? Global Success in the Facebook page. She had posted it last week. And so maybe Denise, if you could just tag it or something, put a comment on it so that it comes to the top again. It won't stay at the top because she'll post this week's, but if you can go back and listen to that, I think it would really, really behoove you, because here's the thing, you guys, we're coming into the holidays and we're going to be putting together with some of you a shop.com overview for the holidays. But here's the thing, you're coming into the holidays. There are people out there that you are going to be sending gifts to. There's going to be donations you're making. There's going to be work people that you're giving gifts to, possibly customers, clients. It's not just Market America. So really think about how can you use your business, because there's so many different opportunities. And if you listen to some of these videos, there's so many different little things that you could give as gifts that are our branded products that are not, it doesn't have to be nutrition. I know we spend a lot of time talking about nutrition, but we have so many other fabulous products of every price range. So many great gift ideas. So we'll be getting together with a couple of you to prepare that, probably a video. So I want to go over, first of all, I want
Did
to,
everybody get their, everyone listen?
everybody that listened.
Laura.
Laura, you listen?
Well, what stood out to me, not only the normalizer, because I took my parents up to Fernando Beach, and my mom always used to use that, and I forgot about that. And as she's aging, she's really, just gets real nervous. So as we're driving, every now and then I'd turn around and spray it in the back, and I swear it calmed her down. A lot of laughs about it too, but and I just go and then it would calm her down, and she'd go, oh, that's nice. What is that? And then off the dot, and off the rain, and so I forgot about that. So I'm ordering her one to keep at at home. But that was funny that you brought that up. But what really stood out for me is, with Zoom, I mean, it's great because we're all together and you can access everything anytime. But I think that would be so awesome to do something like that for launching businesses, because you have to get that product moving, off the ground, fast and furious, because if not, you get a lot of frustration. So like, I was thinking with, Amanda, different ways, instead of just the health seminar, it's like, because there's such excitement, and it wasn't about stopping for a sale or anything. It was just like, oh my gosh, you have to see this, you have to hear this, and just like, I'll never forget the one time she did one, I think it was at a local, they did a shorter version, and it was about the SOS for cold sore, and so I think the little tricks of products, I think, just really catch people's attention and say, oh wow, that's cool, and then people want to purchase that. So I thought, why couldn't we do that, like for launching, like Walter's business and things like that. A lot of new people on here, and even to regenerate sales, because we wouldn't have to fill a room, but we certainly could do that. And not all of them have to have those little tricks in them, but just the excitement of it, and just to go through it. Because I remember when she did that, and that wasn't just for convention. They do those in the homes. That's how she was the #1 retailer for year after year after year, and people in her team. And because that's what they did. They start off with that.
I agree. I totally agree. And Zoom makes it a little bit more challenging. As you know, we are doing the health things, but Zoom makes it a little more challenging because you're not there to actually taste and feel and touch and smell. So that's why I'm saying, even if it's small groups, just the excitement, and just know that when you do start meeting with people face to face, always, always carry a number of different things with you that you can pull out and spray, or put on your hands, or drink or something, and then people go, well, what's that? And don't try to sell it, just tell them your experience with it, why you just put it on your hands, or why you just sprayed it on your face.
A good example of that is that, HSN, it's just all the bullet points, all the benefits. No one's touching anything, no one's smelling anything, and it's just, they have that excitement, and that would fit like on a Zoom platform type of thing. I mean, I get it. You know, when we get in person, there's nothing like in person. But for new people that have just, registered their business and everything, instead of the health seminar, which is a little more, just like they're sitting in school sometimes, even though I think they're fun. But it just brought back to me when she did that. It was just like quick and yeah, okay. So-and-so has this store and we have these products. Here's the benefits next,
Laura, I love that idea. Actually, how fun would it be for maybe 2 or 3 people to get together, and like you have Pip and I here, and you have Paul and Denise.
Right.
You could fit 3 people into a little screen,
Sure.
and we could all come together, and everybody's like spraying, tasting, and sharing. It's going to be exciting to the people who are attending to be able to learn about those products. I think that would be really fun. So Laura, would you like to put that together for the team?
Sure. Well, your house or mine? Well, no, we can't. We might have to leave. We just had to scoot out for a showing. But
No, what I'm saying is we'll do it via Zoom, but that like you and Amanda and one other
okay.
person could get together.
Oh,
Pip and I
gotcha,
can invite
gotcha.
somebody over to our house and do it, but then we can all invite guests from
Sure.
other areas that get on as individuals. They don't have to be together with other people, but that each find out who's willing to do it.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay.
like Maria, you have Shayna there with you. I mean, you guys, there's so many different things I think of between you guys with the skincare and the makeup and stuff like that, that if we could each know what we're responsible for.
Mm-hmm.
And that, you're responsible for, Denise and Paul are responsible for these products. Lynn and Walter are responsible to talk about these couple products. Each person has a couple products who's going to be participating, but we can come together. So it doesn't mean we have to be an individual on the screen. Like Charlotte, you could have Lynn or somebody come over and do it face to face. So that the people who are watching are not watching us individually selling product. They're watching us interact with each other and trying to, oh my God, that was so much fun. Like I'm thinking of if you've ever seen Lisa Tolbert do the one on the skin cream for the neck, the Lumiere de Vie, and she's going like this and she's going, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And but the thing is, that's the kind of stuff that people get excited about.
Mm-hmm.
I have to get Shayna to bring her boyfriend over and tell you how much he loves the beard elixir.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's addicted to the Lumiere de Vie Ohms line.
I would love
That would be great.
Here's the
Completely
thing.
different.
Completely different. How many people have to buy men gifts for the holidays? So I think that we should try and do something like that sometime, probably towards the end of October, after Product Symposium, but before Halloween, because once November hits, everybody's in buy mode.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we really have to hit it somewhere in those second 2 weeks of October.
Okay.
Great idea.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, it will be. Awesome. So if everybody can text into the text group, whether you are on board to participate in that, and if you have any particular favorite products that you would like to be a party to, so that Laura can honestly then put it together. And Laura, just so you know, you're not going to see everybody. I'm going to have to send it to you because you're only in one text group. I can't have more than 20 people in a text group. So
Okay.
I have 2 text groups that go out.
Okay.
Great idea. So, yeah, okay. Everybody that's not on here can be wondering what the heck is happening.
You snooze, you lose.
That's right. We'll stir a little activity. So very good. All right. So I just want to, before Denise talks to us about this week's audio, first of all, I want to just recognize a few people. So Tracy and Stacia and Emily and Charlotte and Laura and Maria and Denise and Paul, thank you for turning in your accountability sheets. For those of you who did not get them turned in on time, if you can please make an effort to get them turned in on time, because Tracy was trying to gather everything on Saturday night and we were missing people. So if you can get those turned in on time, that would be much appreciated. And then I want to
On
hear,
my clipboard.
I'm sorry?
It's on my clipboard.
Yay.
It goes wherever I go now.
That's the way to do it. Okay, so I want to hear real quickly, because I want to give Denise time to go through everything, and we're already at 9 o'clock. So real quickly, Laura,
Yes.
you showed the plan to a Sharon.
Yes, it was impromptu. It wasn't a planned Zoom, and it actually got to conversation. Someone was not wearing a mask, and I was actually putting some things in the back of my car. She was helping me. It was from Lowe's, and we got to chatting. I asked her, "Hey, is this your full-time job?" And she said no. She says, "I work part-time." She says, "I'm actually looking for something else." And I said, "Anything in particular?" And she said, "Well," she says, "I really just, everyone's working from home." She said, "I would really like to just work from home." And I said, "Really?" And I said, "You're serious about that?" And she said, "Yes." And she says, "Why? Do you work from home?" I said, "Yes, I do." I said, "Anywhere where this is." And I didn't say anything, we're still putting some things in the back of the car. And she said, "Well, I'd like to learn more about that." And I said, "Well, what's the best day and time for you? We can get together, via Zoom." And she said, can you just give me some information now? So I got out, actually, it was not quite a napkin, but it looked like it. And I just went over the cash flow quadrant. And then I just talked about, leveraged income. And she said, "Well, I don't have a computer." And so she started, the more she talked, she wants things, but I'm not eliminating her. I said, "Do you mind if I touch base with you in a couple of weeks and just send you some info, a short video, and just, allow yourself to explore your options." I know it can seem overwhelming at first, but, so I just kept it like that, because I've been back to Lowe's a few times now, because just stuff we're doing with the house. And so Home Depot, by the way, didn't have our things. So, so she's, on my drip list, but that's how I.
Okay. So again, ideas of approaches, you guys, and like a lot of times they don't go anywhere. You have a little overview, and if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. It's not the right time. Denise and Paul, tell us about your gal that you have on a trial run, Lisa. What's going on with her? She attended some of the conference, I believe. Your follow-up, what's going on?
Yeah, she just attended half of Saturday for the conference, because she worked Friday and had family and church stuff on Sunday. So, but she's excited about the business, but I think she's still reluctant to talk to people. But she did approach a lot of people about TLS, and she had about 6 or 7 people that wanted the link for the overview, the TLS overview, but she never followed up with them to confirm if they actually got on or not. She knows the last time I talked to her, 2 people actually did get on, but nobody, to my knowledge, made a commitment to do the program. And then she's been on vacation for the past week, so I haven't really talked to her. I'm meeting with her tomorrow.
Okay. So in looking at her Facebook post, one of the coaching tips that you will probably want to give her when she gets back, since she didn't get any results, she was leading with product.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, I know you know this because we've been talking about it so many times, but to really coach her on how she could get better results and through that process, see if she's coachable to follow that, because she completely went out on Facebook without developing any kind, she just led with the product. So I was interested to see whether she got any results from it, and it sounds like it didn't turn into any sales. So again, we have to be so cautious not to lead with product, because then people feel like it's salesy. So it's more about meeting people's needs and finding out what people's needs are and building that trust. So again, when somebody starts, they're so excited. We want to go out and we want to share the product, but we've got to pull people in a little bit and that's where, honestly, I'm going to share Walter's story, because Walter's, I had no idea that you had such a great result from the product. So when you shared that with me, I was like, oh my gosh, Walter, you need to share that testimonial on our Facebook page. And you did, and it was fabulous. I hope you all saw it. I mean, great results on the product. Again, another story to put in our little arsenal. But the thing is, and he got excited, and I didn't think to say anything, and he got excited and put it on his Facebook page. And when I saw that, I called him and I was like, I hate to tell you this, but you're going to have to take that down, or we need to change it and tweak it, because he had the product in there and he also had the diagnosis, which one, he's going to get shut down by Merck in America for doing that if anybody happens to find it, because of the FDA regulations and all of that, or Facebook will shut him down on their own, and then he'll be in Facebook jail, and we don't want that either. Or what will happen, and what did happen, is because he named the product, people started going and searching and Googling isotonics. And fortunately, one of them came back to him, but he doesn't know how many other people might have Googled isotonics and found it on another page. So you want to make sure that all of your new people you're working with understand not to lead with the product, not to put brand names out there. It's product placement, it's story, without mentioning the actual product, so that you're just like the business. We want to talk about things to create curiosity.
Mhm.
You want
You
the
don't want to
curiosity
answer
drive.
the questions. You want them to ask the questions.
Awesome. 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 Who else do I have? Charlotte, talk to us. You had 3 plans shown this week, sweetie.
Except for all the other weeks.
Well, you know what? Sometimes we got to do that. We
The
got
law of averages.
Yeah.
Tell us what's going on real fast.
Well, I had my one girlfriend, her daughter had said she was looking for something in the marketing field. She lives in Utah, and I asked her if she'd be interested in looking at something. She said, yeah, can we do it right now? So there was nobody around. So I did the part 1 Zoom by myself, which I know is a no-no, but I did. But she wanted more information, so I arranged the part 2, I think 2 days later, and Lynn Austin, because she knows this girl, they used to live here, got on. And she remembered, she was little when they moved away, but she remembered. And so I just got notified that she got the sample, the Daily Essentials sample, just today. So she's starting that, and I sent her the new 20-minute corporate video that I watched. I said, until we can get more information, this is same thing you saw, but it's a little shorter, and she's trying to get a list of people together to evaluate it with her. And then we had our Easton Zoom where I had invited, I think, 7 people, and 2 actually, myself came, and somebody for Lynn and Walter came. So we had 3 guests, but I only counted, 2 for my personal, and then 1 for a team one. I had a good response from one of the people. And the next morning, before I could even give her a discount code, she ordered 2 products. So we're going to have a talk. I'm trying to get a hold of her to see what else she needs. Vivian.
Okay.
She ordered magnesium and DNA Miracles Immune.
Okay. Interesting.
So I'm trying to get a hold back of her. And then I gave out a lot of samples this week too.
Good. You had a good week.
I know. No, I mean, it was the first time I filled out the thing to JR's team where I didn't feel like, oh, you know.
The thing is, it starts somewhere. That's why I want to encourage you all to fill out an accountability sheet and at least submit it. Because even like Tracy submitted a sheet and there was only one thing on it, but the thing, she at least submitted the sheet. It's not about beating ourselves up for what we didn't do. It's about encouraging ourselves to do a little bit more each week until we get it that it's like clockwork and we just do it.
I can tell you, I was getting really bummed the last even few months about not being able to meet people. There was just nobody to meet. This week, I honestly, I prayed about it nonstop. And almost every day I ran into someone to meet. So, and the one, when she said, I'm moving to Fleming Island, Florida, I'm like, what? You know how I was getting on the elevator, I asked her, I said, do you mind if I get on the elevator with you? Because we were a mess. She said, absolutely. And that's how the whole conversation started.
How funny. And now we're going to meet up when she moves to Fleming Island in October.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny.
You just never know.
It's a small island.
That one, she said to me, I was really concerned about moving. I was thinking that we make the right decision. She goes, but after meeting
So
you and then
funny.
introducing me to your friend, she's like, I feel like that was the way of saying that this was the right move for us.
And Charlotte, I love what you did because you followed Elizabeth. And this, I want to bring this up. One of the things in Elizabeth is the fact that we don't leave a Zoom meeting. Not that we did a Zoom meeting because we didn't, but she threw us into a three-way text message right away. Instead of trying to text with her and then text with me to connect it. So I want to just remind all of you, when you do a Zoom with somebody else, it is so important to put everybody into a text group, because here's the thing. I'll use Walter for an example. Walter doesn't know what to necessarily say to the person after they've met, and now they come back and they say something. So what happens then, he has to send it to me, and there's a delay. And like this weekend we were moving. I wasn't picking up my phone. I mean, we literally, my phone was in the car and we were just working as fast as we could. And so by the time I got his message then, it could have been too late to respond and get all that going. The thing is, it's important that we all get into that group together so that we can answer the questions that people have and we have each other's backs. And so it's important, and you can't control it. Like one of the people we met with, Walter and I met with somebody probably 2 weeks ago, I want to say, a week and a half ago. And she emailed me directly without including Walter. And I thought, well, that's kind of weird. Like, why are you doing that? And so when I replied, I immediately replied and sent and got Walter back involved in the conversation. So you just have to be aware of stuff like that, but you want to be connected so that they know you're on the same page. They know you're working as a team, that this is not a single entity. And not always, like, if it's me and Walter, if Walter can answer the question, I'm not going to jump in every time. But like with Charlotte, a lot of times, because I know you're at work, I mean, now it's a little different, but when you used to be at work, it's like I would jump in and answer the question because I knew she wasn't going to see it for maybe 4 or 5 hours. So just know what your parameters were with each person you're working with so that we can all have each other's back. So awesome. I think that's all I had for right now. I'm excited about this event, Laura. I really am. I think that was a great idea, and I think that that's going to help.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah, I think that's going to help everybody a lot. So Denise, you want to take it away?
Sure. So this week, I apologize in advance because this video is longer than the one from last week. But the video that I'm sharing this week is Jim Winkler's Keeping the Main Thing the Main Thing. And I chose this video this week mainly very selfishly because I needed it. So I'm sure that means that somebody else needed it too. So we're just all going to grow together here. And it kind of follows along with what Beth was training us last week about staying organized. You know, we want to build our organization in two senses of that word, in a duplicatable, effective, and efficient use of our time. So I'm also going to share in the Facebook group our weekly time grid. It can also be found on BB411, but I'll put it in the Facebook group too, so it's easy for everybody to find. And we can use that to help us schedule our time. So this is why I needed this, because it's critical, you know, that we get our mind around what we're doing with our time. I've been lazy for a long time. And if you don't take the time to do it right from the start, when will you have time to do it over, right? So if we start, you know, putting that together now and creating that routine and that pattern for us. And even if you don't have a team right now, keep your future team in mind when you're putting your time on your calendar, so that you can incorporate that one-on-one time that you're going to need to work with your individual team members. And that way you're training them in the right way. So you're imprinting the proper way to work your calendar. And in the beginning, especially if you haven't done this before, or if it's foreign to you because, like me, you've kind of gone off on your own time and not worked from a schedule. So there's going to be some trial and error. So you're going to have to kind of find what works. If you've never done it before, you might just have to kind of go blindly into it, looking at your calendar. So the first things you're going to put on there are your, you know, absolute things. You know, if you're still working a job, you've got to put your work time on there, your church time, your family commitments, those kind of things. And then see where you've got holes that you can put your dedicated work time into. And you know, it may look and feel like it's going to work right, but just be conscious of that time as you start using it. Try to stick to that schedule. But if you find that it's not working, you can adjust it. You may have heard this term before, but we call it monitor, measure, adjust, and control. So see how it's working for you. If it's not working, adjust it, fix it until you find a good flow that works well for you. And even then, you know, it's not always going to go perfectly every day or every week, but it's going to help you establish that routine. So the video, keeping the main thing. So what does that mean? Mainly, you know, we need to establish what our objectives are. And Jim's going to talk a lot about that in the video. So what I want to challenge you guys to do, without me going into a lot about the video right now, is challenge you all to post in the Facebook group the 4 things that Jim names as our objectives, or what we also call result producing activities. And then I have another a little thing I'll share with you that's just an idea that you can use as an option for helping you organize your week, and it's called OATS. So what OATS is you pick a day each week, whatever fits best for you. Most people, or a lot of people, like Friday. Some people like Monday to be their day. Whatever it is that you sit down with your calendar and plan out your week. So O in OATS stands for objectives. So you determine what your result producing activities are. A stands for actions. So you need to determine what actions are required to meet those objectives. T stands for time. So you want to determine how much time you're going to need to complete each one of those actions. And then S is for schedule. You have to schedule it. Write it down on your time grid and in your calendar, or however you maintain your schedule. If it isn't written down, it isn't true. So put it down in your calendar. And again, this is just an option. Jim will talk about some other things on there, on that video that you might like better, but this is just something I like that I thought I would share. Just find what works best for you to help you create that habit. And then that word habit, I want to put a little bit of a spin on it, because this is really what led me to looking at this video and diving into this whole concept. I took a course some time back that taught me about creating a new blueprint. So a blueprint is basically the seed of our habits, where that came from. In a sense, when you're creating a new blueprint, you are changing habits, but the training that I went through takes you a lot deeper into that and taught us how to look within ourselves, maybe something from your past or how you grew up or what what the rules were in your house or in the area where you lived or whatever that established those habits in you. So I used this concept and really made some huge impacts in my life. I've been very blessed that I was able to go through that. But I've kind of recently come to realize that there's another area in my life, probably more, but we're just going to work on one at a time, where I have this deep-seated mindset that is getting in my way. And that is the mindset of the employee versus a business owner. And, I said last week, we've never been UFOs before, so this is kind of fits into that same line of thinking with creating our schedule and whatnot. But if you think about it throughout life, we've been conditioned to be an employee. Even as far back as in school, you're given an assignment to do and you do your assignment and you turn it in and they check it and give it back to you and show you everything you did wrong. They don't ever talk about it right. They just talk about the things you did wrong. That is a mindset that created that blueprint to train us how to be employees. And, they teach you, go to school, get a good job, and be a good employee, and live happily ever after, right? So in my job, I kind of did the same thing. I was a mortgage loan processor, so I completed a file and turned it into the underwriter, and she sent it back to me with a checklist of what was wrong with the file. So I was still living that same pattern. Every now and then I'd get 100 and I could just pass the file on to the next department. But in that employer mindset, I was taking that same mindset and doing all the work. I was doing the accountability sheet and I was checking all the boxes and filling out the calendar, expecting someone to check it off for me and tell me what to do next or let me pass it on to the next department, instead of taking that business owner mindset and taking personal responsibility for my business. I just realized that I was getting stuck waiting on the next step because I was still in that mindset. So I've got to change my blueprint. And how do I do that? I do that by putting some feeling behind the thoughts about why I'm doing what I'm doing. So the feeling creates desire, and that's where we get our dreams. And once you create that feeling, that helps you develop belief. And belief is what will cause us to take action, to do the next step. So just like any other habits that we do in our life, we need to practice. Anything that we're going to do regularly, we need to practice. So I would like to also challenge you guys, while you're working on that weekly schedule, to incorporate some quiet time for yourself, maybe just 10 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, whatever fits into your schedule, that you would just make a commitment to yourself to sit quietly and contemplate those things and think about what is your blueprint and what can you do to create a new blueprint.
Were you reading Think and Grow Rich today?
I read Think and Grow Rich quite frequently.
I say that because I listened to almost all of that today in the first 6 chapters.
It doesn't matter. There's how many ways to skin a cat. It doesn't matter what you're reading or what you're listening to. It's all going to come from the same source because it's the same deep-rooted things. It's all based on the blueprint. Denise, that
And
was,
I printed my self-confidence formula. All the things I'm supposed to read to myself every day is on my
There you go.
top of my clipboard too.
good.
For my 30-minute, and that's, the 10 minutes and 30 minutes is included in there.
It-
So
it,
all comes around.
if you've noticed the whole thing that we're coming back down to from JR and Lauren and everybody, we're all going back to the mindset, because one of the things that we were talking about prior to convention as leaders in the business with the conversations were, what did we do back then that we are not doing now? And people are going through the motions, but that deep-rooted why, that deep-rooted desire, the deep-rooted blueprint. Denise, I'm so happy you targeted that, because that blueprint is so critical that if we are in that mindset, if we don't change the blueprint, we're going to keep just doing the same thing, expecting different results. And so this is great. I have a question for you though. The 4 objectives that you want people to post, there are only 4, right, that Jim mentions?
Right.
So instead of posting, would it be better that they all text you privately? Because if one person posts them, the challenge is kind of over.
True.
So I would like to, I'd like to add to the challenge. Once you've listened to the audio, text Denise the 4 objectives so she knows that you've actually listened to the audio.
And if you don't get them right, she's going to give you a check mark and hand it back.
I'm just going to mark the ones you got wrong.
There, that feels good, doesn't it? Oh my gosh, that was awesome. That was awesome. So keep the main thing, you guys.
And that's the main thing.
The main thing is keeping the main thing the main thing.
Yeah. Tony Bowling.
Tony Bowling said that all the time. So very good. Does anybody have any questions for Denise or any comments?
No, well done.
Okay. Stacia, I know that you are on mute and that we haven't seen you yet. If you are there and able to talk, we would love to hear before we leave about all of your, not all, your 2 people that you have on trial runs. I know that you've got 2 people on trial runs right now. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And if you could just bring everybody kind of up to date as to what's happening. I know that you were sending a daily essential trial to one of them.
Yeah, it shipped. He said he hasn't, it shipped like 2 days ago. He said he hasn't gotten it yet.
Okay. Well, he's in Oregon, right?
Seattle, Washington.
Okay. Yeah. So it's gonna definitely take longer to get to him.
Yeah. So I messaged him today. He said he still I messaged him yesterday. He hadn't gotten it. I messaged him today. He said he still hasn't gotten it. I asked him if he has had a chance to see if anybody he wanted to talk to was interested in finding out more. I haven't heard back from him on it. And the other one, Joan has been interviewing people all week because they're having to hire a whole bunch of people. So she's going to be watching the video from tonight to this video. She said she'd watch it later.
Okay.
So she couldn't get on the call because she was still working. Trying to work with her schedule, with her business. It's right now, it comes and it gets slow and then it gets fast. Right now it's in a heavy period.
Okay.
And then tomorrow we have the part 2 with Debbie
Right.
tomorrow. So
Awesome. Keep going.
Good job.
Keep going. Ed was obviously very, very interested, but now we've got to see what he brings to the table. Does he bring anything to the table? And I know obviously he's wanting to try the product and see what the product's about, but he also wanted to get some people together. And so you just have to stay on it and see if he can bring those people together and to the table so we can take that next step.
Yep.
Excellent. Maria.
Stacia, did you send the sample through the app?
Yeah.
You'll get an email when it actually delivers.
Oh, okay. I got an email saying it shipped.
Yeah, you will get one when it is actually delivered as well. So you'll know exactly when you got it. because
You
I
do
got,
have to activate that though, because mine wasn't automatically activated.
I didn't do anything other than
What do you mean
send.
activate?
You have to go check, like turn on all, like for all tracking information
Oh,
and then accept it. I have a Droid, but so maybe it's a little bit
All of the
different.
ones that we've sent through the app have taken at least a week to get there.
mine took over a week to get to Pennsylvania.
They don't ship out of Greensboro. It ships out of
Mhm.
It's shipped,
Minnesota. Where is it? Illinois or something?
I don't
I
know
was
where, but it's
surprised.
shipped direct from the company that's making it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they probably don't send it first class. They probably send it like the,
Yeah.
I don't know what you call it. Yeah.
Regular.
There is no regular.
What'd you say? You say junk mail?
No, he said regular, and I said there is no regular, but that's an inside joke. There's a fun
Oh.
story that goes with that.
When you order samples and stuff, postal rate or something like that, it's for
Right.
commercial stuff.
Yeah,
a
it's
little-
not like anything shipping to us where you're going to get it in, 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Like I said, mine took a week to get to Pennsylvania. The first
So-
one.
Has anyone shipped out any of the ones that they physically got yet?
I handed 2 out.
Okay.
I
I'm
handed.
just wondering how much it's costing us to ship it. I haven't shipped any out yet either, and I have a couple people I'm going to contact tomorrow.
Now, I figured if I had to ship, I was just going to have the company do it, only because it's cheaper than actually buying them anyway. Because to send 10 samples from them, if you're paying for them all, is $59.50. It costs you more than that to buy the 10 sample packs.
Oh. Okay, I haven't done the math.
And then you have to ship it. You're shipping them, and then you have to ship it on top of that. So it's actually, if you're shipping them, it's cheaper to have the company do it.
Okay,
Yes,
I want some, so I had them to hand out.
interesting. Okay.
I am curious to find out that they're making me go back to the hospital Friday afternoon for more blood tests. And so I'll have been on the iron for a little over a week. I'm curious to see how that comes out.
Yeah, I'd be curious too. I don't know that in a week you'd see the results, but you could, you could. I don't know. It depends how low your iron really was and how much it's getting absorbed in there, how quickly.
Well, they showed the lab work showed the levels. So, I mean, if I may not be unanemic anymore, but hopefully I can see that they're going up.
Okay, well, keep us posted.
Curious.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, I have to tell you, my dad was low on B12 and they wanted to take him in for shots, B12 shots. And his doctor had just changed. She was open to more natural things. It's down at the VA, so it was a televisit. She was okay, well, just keep him on the isotonic B complex. And we just got his blood work today and it was like perfect B12 numbers. Yeah. He actually said he was a little high in B6, but they said that's fine. He'll flush it out.
Keep that away.
Yep. I was being recorded.
Trying
so
to
I
be
just-
polite.
Yeah, so I just wanted to put that out there. And he's 89 and it got results like that. So never too late.
Awesome.
Yep. I started on my vitamin D last year because they told me last year my vitamin D was low, and my vitamin D is not low anymore, just my iron now.
Well, here's the thing. Health is a balance of learning lots of things and then getting it all in balance so that you've got all things ticking on the right platform, I guess I would say.
All things ticking on the right chicken.
There you go.
Yeah, take lots of vitamin C to absorb that iron too.
Taking the multivitamin with iron now because I didn't realize the regular daily essentials don't have iron.
No,
Nope.
maybe they'll get that.
Mm,
No.
I wouldn't wait for it. All right. Well, does
Okay,
anybody
guys.
have anything else? I know that was a long call, but I think it was well worth it with everything. Anybody have anything else they have to add?
Kevin and I start 14 weeks of debt shredder training formally this Wednesday. The intro part was last week.
All right. Well, good luck with that. It's a course in and of itself. Walter, you have a question? I saw your.
Yeah, just to say, oh, Lynn is here, by the way. She just is out of the camera view.
No, no problem.
After getting my hand slapped, I did go in and edit my Facebook piece. And I think we've gotten 5 responses from that.
Excellent.
And
Awesome.
2 orders placed. I have 2 others that are coming up in the next couple of days. And then there's one guy that we're still waiting to hear from based on a tennis lesson I went up to another place, another city, and gave. And the guy decided that he liked what he was hearing and placed an order already.
Good.
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Not too
That's
bad.
good. Good for you. See, and it's just a matter of tweaking things just a little bit. It wasn't that people weren't interested before, but they were going off and finding that product possibly on their own. So now you've brought them back to you and they're now your customers, and good job.
Good job.
Yes,
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
certainly.
Excellent, excellent. Well, make it a good week. Don't forget accountability sheets. Don't forget to stay focused on your mind. And I look forward to hearing what everybody's results are with their little focused thoughts, sit tight times, and what's going to come out of that. But we definitely have more momentum. I don't know if you guys feel it. I just feel like there's more of a definite momentum going on, and there's a lot of stuff. And Laura, do you have a scheduled time that you're doing Amanda's registration?
No, we do not have a scheduled time yet.
Okay. So keep me posted on that.
I will.
And let's make it happen. Have a good week, everybody.
Keep the
Night, guys.
main thing.
Same thing.
Bye.
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 Bye, everyone.